A redneck bush hog. Good afternoon. We're gonna kind of do a mosh posh of videos. I haven't posted a video in a while, but we did not go to the land very much this weekend. Matt had to work on Monday, so when he left the office, we rode over to the land and did a little bit of work. Just basically cleared the front of the property and just kind of played around pretty much. I have a little bit of video, so I'll add it in to where you guys can watch it. But we didn't get a whole lot done, but we did accomplish a little bit, so here you go. Enjoy. What? A redneck bush hog? My mom has come to visit. Adeline's showing her the land. Look at the picture. Look at the camera. Look at the camera. Goodness. Hi, Hudson. Say hi. Hi. Adeline is making pizza for Gammy. So what do you think about the land? It's cool. It's gonna be great. We got a lot of work to do. Yep. The more work you put into it, though, the more you appreciate it. True. We got the one driveway pretty much. We got up at no problem. This one, however, we have to kind of. That's their skateboard. We have to get the slope down. Whatever you call it. My mom has a little small SUV and Matt's mom has a little small car, and I don't think either one of them are gonna make it down there. Oh, we could do. We just get nose stuck. Nose dive in the rock. So since we didn't go to the land very much this weekend, we didn't get a whole lot accomplished. We did a little bit. I thought that I would do a video today on cast iron. Whether that be skillets, pots. Cast iron is a workhorse in the kitchen. It's either already in the kitchen or it is highly wanted. You've probably acquired cast iron, if you have any, from a family member, from a grandparent, something like that, or you've gone to an estate sale where an older person has passed away and the kids don't want it, or you've gone, like me, to a flea market. We went to a flea market here local and I found 2 pieces of cast iron skillets, a 9-inch and a 10-inch, for like $5 a piece, so you couldn't beat it. They weren't seasoned and in the best condition, but we did get them, we did clean them up, and I have some video of that. We went to a little flea market today and we found 2 cast iron skillets. They're in pretty rough shape, so let's get them all cleaned up, get them re-seasoned, and get to using them. Major difference now. I've gotten the gunk off of here, and this is the pan, and then this is the buildup. But if it's seasoned correctly, this pan will last me my entire life. It will outlive me. So my kids and my grandkids and my great-grandkids and my great-great-great-grandkids will be able to cook in this pan. So I'm excited to get it cleaned up and start using it. You can definitely tell a difference now. So we're going to continue to work here, and then we have the bottom and the sides. So it's been about 20 minutes probably, just working on the sides here and the handle. We got the handle done, so now we are going to flip it over and start on the bottom. We have made it a little bit further. I've gotten the bottom completely clean, and now we're starting to work on the sides, and you can definitely see the old stuff that needs to come off so that we can re-season this pan so that we can use it. Looking good so far. We have pretty much gotten the sides down and the bottom. completely clean. The handle's looking pretty good. So now we are going to start on the inside. And basically what I'm trying to do is break all this down to the pan it was before. So basically we're breaking it down to its original form from when it was first made. So let's get this cleaned up, and then it'll be time to start seasoning it. Handle looks wonderful too. You can see really how much of a difference it is so far. It looks pretty good. So we are done with the one skillet. You can see how it looks. The handle's not terrible. It looks very rusty, so we just need to restore it. We need to go ahead and oil it up and get it baking. We have both of them cleaned out. We're going to dry them out, and then we're going to oil them up and get them in the oven to start the seasoning. You probably hear the kiddos playing in the background, so we're at home. It's normal. That's what you're going to hear when you come to my house, is kids playing. Okay, so the one important step I forgot to video, but I wiped both pans down with some oil. I wiped the entire thing down with oil. That's the handle, the side, the center here, the rim, the sides, and the bottom of the pan. And now we're going to put it in the oven on 350, and I'm going to cook this for an hour. Once it's done, I'm going to turn my oven off and leave my pans in there. That's going to let them cool on their own. Also, that gives the oil a better chance of adhering to the pan. So just put it in at 350, bake it for an hour, and you're going to want to put them upside down like this. So the oil, excess oil, doesn't run straight to the middle and just clump up right there, and then dry there. So I like to flip mine over and bake it that way. So here we go. Okay, so pan number one is done, and it's starting to get that good coating back on there. So we'll do it again in a couple of days, and it'll look way better than this. The cast iron is like the number one thing that anybody wants in their home because it lasts forever. It's durable. If it's seasoned correctly and taken care of, that is something that you could pass down from generation to generation. My great grandkids will have my cast iron when I pass away. It's gonna outlive me. Cast iron is something that you can cook on the stovetop with. You can also put it in the oven. You can put it on the grill. You can put it in a fire. I mean, you can cook with it anywhere. So it's pretty much universal. You can cook a pizza in it. You can scramble your eggs in the morning. You can cook bacon. You can make pancakes. I'm trying to think. And I made notes so I wouldn't get sidetracked because I always get sidetracked. But you can cook your vegetables in it. You can sear. You can broil. You get pretty much anything that you want to do. You can get done in a cast iron skillet. Cast iron only improves with age. The more seasoning that it gets, or the more seasoned it gets, it is phenomenal. A non-stick skillet, there you go. Now you have to have a good season on it before you can accomplish the non-stick, because if you're just starting out and you're just seasoning it up, chances are something's probably going to stick in it, but that's just the beginning. So the more you season it, the better it's going to be. Our second pro to cast iron is it can be inexpensive. There are pieces that are expensive, but there are also pieces that are inexpensive. We can go to flea markets, we can go to estate sales, we can go to garage sales, and more than likely there's going to be some piece of cast iron at the sale. My mom and Addie and I went to the flea market here in Arkansas, and I got a couple pieces. I mean, they weren't in good condition, but I can always re-season them and pass them on. It all depends on what you want to spend on it. Now, you can go to a store and you can get the already pre-seasoned. I would still go ahead and season it when you get home. That can cost you, I've seen, $16, $30. Another good thing about cast iron is that it retains heat very well. You can put it on an open flame. You can put it on the stovetop and it heats up instantly. It's excellent because it is a hot pan, and in order to get the crust of something on, say you want to brown your steak, or you want to get a crust on your pork chops or on your chicken, you can do that by putting it in a cast iron skillet because it's going to retain the heat. Another good point is that cast iron can become non-stick without the chemicals. You get these aluminum pans, or you get your skillet or whatever, and it has the coating on the inside. More than likely that's going to start chipping off into your food, and there's so many chemicals in these pots and pans and things like that that you're adding into your food, and that's something that I don't want to do for my family. I would prefer to have something that I could make a non-stick by not using toxic chemicals to help me achieve that. Like I said, there are a lot of pros to cast iron. There are some negative to cast iron too, but it all depends on how you work with it. So if you have a bigger pan, say 12-inch, and your burner's really small, you put it on top of your burner, it's not a good conductor of heat. So the center is on the eye of your stove. That's where all the heat's going to be. The outside's going to be warm, but it's not going to be as hot as it would be in the center. Another con to a cast iron pan is that it doesn't pack lightly. You know, they're really heavy, so sometimes it does take you 2 hands to get it out of the oven. Also, another con is that the handle gets hot, but they have these little pot holders that you can put on the end of it, and that'll help with your handle being too hot. So the last con of a cast iron skillet is basically that it has to be seasoned, so it has to be taken care of. In order for it to obtain that non-stick skillet that we like, we have to take care of it. So we have to make sure that it is seasoned, we have to make sure that it's clean, and that it's dried properly before we store it. If not, if there's a little bit of water in there, it's going to cause it to rust. Now, if it does rust, that doesn't mean that it's the end of the world. You can always go through the seasoning process again, and it'll be just as good, but it'll take time to build that really, really, really good seasoning up. So the cast iron that we got from the flea market, it's not something that you have to throw out just because it's rusted. You don't have to throw it out. I mean, this still has life. It has plenty of life. You just need to re-season it. Make sure that it's dry every time. Season it again. The more you season it, the better the pan is going to be. It's going to be phenomenal. I don't know that people understand how great cast iron is. A lot of people are like, you keep saying season this pan. What does that mean? I'm not talking about putting butter in it and then adding salt and pepper, maybe a little Cajun seasoning. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about we want to protect it. So this is almost like we're polishing this pan. So if you get a good cast iron skillet, you'll notice that it's kind of like shiny and sheen. That is a really, really good seasoning. So this is just to protect the coating of the skillet. To thoroughly season a skillet, it's going to take you a couple times to do it. So you know, you can cook in it, but probably, you know, the first handful of times that you cook in it, you're not going to create that non-stick. So it might stick, it might not, but chances are it's going to take you a couple times to season it. Really good. So with cast iron, with the proper care, the time you take preserving this pan, it may take less time in between seasonings. So you may season it, and then a month later you may have to season it again. So it just really depends on how well you take care of your pan. So seasoning your pan, you know, I keep talking about it. How do you do it? So when you get your pan, you can get it, you know, rusted or non-rusted. You can buy it new, you can buy it older and used. It doesn't matter. But when you get it home, you want to make sure that you get some kind of metal scrubber. Like I have a copper scrubber that I use. You just want to make sure that you scrub, kind of rough it up a little bit. So kind of like you're adding texture to something. So rough it up a little bit. Then you want to wash it with soap and water. I know a lot of people say, don't wash it with soap. You're starting over. You're trying to get this pan to its vulnerable stage. So let's go ahead and start it all over again. So make sure that you wash it with soap and water, and then you want to make sure that you really dry it. If you want to put it on top of the stove and turn the flame on really low, you can make sure that there's no more moisture on this pan. Once that's done, you want to get a napkin or a rag and take oil, and you want to cover the entire skillet. But make sure that it's kind of a thin layer. You are going to be putting this into your oven, so you don't really want all of that oil to drip down into your oven. So just put a little thin layer on there. You're going to do it again eventually, so you're going to build it up. So just do a little thin layer. Before, you can probably preheat your oven to 350, something like that. Put it in there and cook it for about an hour. Once it's done, do not take it out. Leave it in there. Turn your oven off completely. Let it sit there until it cools down. This will make sure that the oils adhere to the skillet and stick better, because you got to think that once you reach in to grab the skillet, you're grabbing the handle, which could wipe some of that oil off. So just let it dry in your skillet. Leave the skillet in the oven, and you will be good to go. You can take it out and use it once it's cool. Take it out and store it. You can cook in it right away. And then you just want to watch it, you know, make sure you have that polished look on it. So once you get done using it, rinse it out with water, you know, clean it the way that you want to clean it, and then dry it. Make sure it's completely dry, because if you put it up with moisture, you have that chance of it rusting out. So I hope this helps you guys. I know I probably was talking around in circles, and sister's playing with Hudson, he's laughing. But I hope that this helps you guys to understand, you know, a little bit more about cast iron, and I hope that you take it with you and invest in cast iron for your family, for your homestead, and for your kids growing up. They are going to reap the benefits. So everything that you put into it now, they're gonna reap the benefits, and they can only progress from there. So I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful week. Thank you guys for hanging out with me for just a little bit today, and we will see you soon.